a Jamaican musician is calling on the government to give tax exemption. He's saying that musicians need a break from the government, and the government really need to just free up the youths them and allow the youths them to explore their naturally given talent as a way to contribute to the next generation of musicians and artists and so forth. It's the least that Jamaica can do. Many agree that it's full time that the government properly supports the industry of music because it is a large part of the global branding of Jamaica. Jamaica gets paid from that said branding based on tourism, right? Interestingly enough, last week, Shaggy held a big conference in Jamaica. Shaggy invites all kind of, highly positioned people in the world of music and media to Jamaica to sit down and talk about music business. Shaggy was seen in the media complaining that very little Jamaicans and actual even artists of the industry came out to support. Sometimes we as Jamaican people always talking about the music getting a raw deal. But we don't also understand that the people who are in the music are not positioning themselves to be educated about the industry that they're in.
We don't position.
Not making the links that they should be possibly making. I tell you guys over and over, our culture is this. My boss, Shatta, me and you used to play marble, yeah, I'm a manager.
Yeah.
Shatta don't know nothing about music, But me trust Shatta, and Shatta now go rob me. And Shatta now go bully me because Shatta I'm a brethren. And Shatta now go like him brighter than me. And none of that. So that's what I'm comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with hiring Sherry or Stacy because them too intellectual. And the brighter you are, is the bigger you chances that you're gonna thief more money. So we stray away from that, which is very stupid, but it is actually what the industry is all about.
This sort of thing are important and the timing for it right now.
I think it is. It's always been an issue. Everybody try to educate themselves more. I certainly have been that person who wanted more education back in the days. And I've gone through my fair shares of tribulations, so to speak, and for the lack of a better word. And in the earlier days, you couldn't get information because you'd have to go read a book on him, everything you want to know about the music business. But now you have your device that you can go and Google and get and everything. And this now really, put in a position where you can now have conversation.
Was it easy to actually get the industry to support this?
Well, it's difficult because I want to tell you something. Most of the people in my register have come are people from overseas.
Wow.
And we did this for Jamaicans. Wow. And I'm sure you've been here since morning and you notice that everybody are rolling after 3 o'clock.
Right? Jamaican time.
Yes. And those who are doing, them taking them time. And some people are sitting and talk about, well, that's so much money for register. And they pay double that for go and party.
You don't have to throw it hard, You don't have to be throwing word so hard.
I have to throw it because I do what I do with passion. If I'm going to do music with somebody out of Jamaica, right? Them need to understand the business of music, right? And not sit down and we go, man, I look at you like say a Robbie. Like me, who have all with me, have a song, I want to rob you for your like a song. Learn the game.
Why continue? Why continue to try to, seek for like the advancement of like the industry? At some point, it must get tired,
I've been asked that question more than once. Say, all right, then don't make your money now. We go here, go sleep and enjoy. Why? Because I come from Raytown, Jamaica, and I have gotten to a place where I have met the Pope, the Queen, Nelson Mandela, Michael Jackson. I have sit and dine with kings. I have gone to some places that me as a little boy out of Raytown would never. Why would I want to deny that? Right? For another little man where I come up. See, I'm gonna love them to do it bigger than me and go further than me.
So the artist wasn't present, which it would be a great place for the artist to be. But then their publicists and their managers and so forth also didn't go as well, right? So I don't know if Shaggy feels that it's a wasted effort. But I can tell you firsthand, people in Jamaica don't want to be educated when it comes to this whole music thing. The education thing, they're not in. They're not into anybody, speaking to them about things that could help them.
Until them get a contract. Boy, me get a contract, you can look on it for me. No, not about the business. You could have talked to them from now till the end of the
In
earth.
fact, I was just earlier this week watching something with Barrington Levy, where he was also admitting that he was doing songs just because they didn't have any business sense to what they were doing. And the producer, which he said Henry John Lodge at the time, took total advantage of him. And he said up to this day, he's still fighting to get compensation from some of the songs that he made that really made some money.
Yeah.
That, on paper, the songs don't belong to him. It's interesting to see that Shaggy's making this effort. He really doesn't have to. He can just do what everybody else does.
Yeah.
Make them money, build them big house at Jamaica, and then show off by everybody else who not get the big house and who not make the money yet.
Right.
But, he's trying to give back, trying to build a whole structure and trying to say, okay, once upon a time in the 90s, America and the record companies was looking in on Jamaica. And everybody was getting signed. Cocotte, Tony Rebel, Cutty Ranks, everybody who you can name at that time was getting signed because reggae had the buzz, and these major record companies was looking for the next big artist. Right? Remember, Shabba did lead the way, but there were many people after Shabba that also got their opportunity to get signed. Unfortunately, a lot of those signings didn't enhance the artist's visibility or career, but they were signed. Now, foreign industry is not looking into Jamaica. So what Shaggy's doing is building a bridge and bringing them to Jamaica.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody's seeing it that way. Shaggy's saying, well, since we're not looking to Jamaica, let me use my stardom.
Chin, it's interesting that Shaggy does that, and I commend him for doing it. But when you would hear it, is you hear when they don't do things, and then you hear people turn around and say, why them not do nothing for we?
Our Jamaican artists, most of them, right? And I've done that circuit, and I've paid close attention to it. They are intimidated by intelligence. And I'm not saying that they're stupid, These are some of the most brilliant creators, and some of them, got high grades in school and all of that great stuff. But there's something about the music industry that they don't want to put anybody to represent them that fully understands the ins and outs of the music industry, and they feel like that particular person will easily be able to maneuver around them and collect money that they should not have. And then another thing about it is simply this, right? Some of the artists, them damn cheap, and they don't want the proper people because the proper people work for the proper money.
Exactly.
And when you can give a man a $20, who's your brethren from downtown, and your brethren good because yesterday him never have a pair of shoes and today him have shoes, so I'm good with whatever you give him. The person who's a professional that understands, they're not gonna take the $20. You gotta pay more.
Yeah.
And some of them artists here will look and say, rotted. Say a 50 grand me get for that show there. And then the band get 5 grand out of it, so it gone to 45, right? And then my manager, Ima, come talk about him to get 20 or 25%. By the time I get my little money, I only $30,000 or $33,000 me off. So they're not looking at the value of representation. They're looking at the fact that them lose $17,000 in the process of the whole, everybody being compensated.
Right.
And most of them want to take home everything. We got to have these conversations, people, because I think that a lot of us, because we don't know the ins and outs of the whole music thing.
Right.
What we do is that we look from the outside and we judge from the outside, but you got to judge from the inside too. They say that you can't judge a book by its cover, right? And not knowing the ins and outs of the industry that entertains us, right, allows us to judge the book by its cover and not realize that part of the beating that we're getting, with the Grammys and the accolades that's flying past us and the opportunities that we can't clinch is simply because of misrepresentation and a lack of education and professionalism.
Yeah.
So it's a soup of a lot of things.
Right. So there are a couple of things I'm hoping and praying for. This school that the government says that they are setting up, because I believe from what they're saying, this will be one of the things that should impact the future artists. and the younger artists as to the whole understanding of the business aspect of music. And I'm hoping that that now will give them different insights, let them understand that there are different people who play different roles. And in order for you to succeed, you have to have these people in, properly positioned, who have the proper, connection, all of that. A lot of artists are talking about the problems that they're having in the industry. I saw with this event that Shaggy put together, they were addressing some of the very stuff that was
Right.
affecting them to the core.
Right.
Like some of them not getting visa. Babsy Grange was there. She was talking about it. She was talking about, the opportunities in other, markets.
Other markets. She was speaking of Africa as
Africa,
well.
and I'm like, these guys, tell me, say, you can't invest some time. You'd probably sit on a floss or smoke when you said this is your business. That means say you're not doing it passionately. You just do it as a gig.
And if the artists start to look at it as a business, then you start to hire the right people to run your business.
Exactly.
And because to everyone it's not a business, it's a hustling
hustle.
that they make money from, but it's not really business. So that's
Right.
the main. And these guys emulate these hip hop guys. All of these people that we're following, and we're buying 5 cars, and we have built big house on the hill,
Right.
and we're doing all of this. They also have advisors that advise them
Yes.
where to take their millions and what to invest in and what to do this and what to do that, right? And that's the part of it that we're not
getting.
We're not getting,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't make sense.
I don't think we're looking to longevity. I think we're more in the moment. The key is that you have to learn, you have to grow. I don't think they think that there's anything that they need to learn.
Jamaica's a different monster, and there's a different mindset. Another thing that they could have done, which I know will work, but again, it may not fit their bottom line, is solicit these symposiums to the schools in Jamaica. So they go to Campion, they go to KC, they go to George's and all of these schools, and then have the schools bring the students to these seminars, right? So at least you know that you're going to have, an auditorium of 200 students.
Right.
And some people in that audience will probably be inspired musicians or upcoming musicians or artists, and they can understand the craft from leaving school
Right.
and getting into the industry. So maybe
I
the target
couldn't
needs
agree
to be
more.
those minds.
Right. And
But-
that is planting a seed.
but if
right there.
if you're looking at established artists to give Shaggy the satisfaction of Shaggy put something together and me I go down there go show up. No, me not go down there go bust Shaggy thing.
Yeah.
I make it look like say you understand what I'm
so
saying?
true.
Like me need Shaggy.
It's the same thing like I would say to you guys, and you guys would say, boy, Chin, I say to you that there's certain people that will never show up at Soundchat Radio. They're not gonna come.
Right.
It's not that they don't know that we're doing the best that we can do while everything on fire. They're not gonna give us the cosign to say that such and such was in the building.
Exactly.
Because that person being in the building, in their mind, is giving what we're doing more strength.
That's an endorsement.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's an
yep.
endorsement because their
Yep.
fan base are gonna say, see, such and such did run a sound chat too. So it's the same thing.
But the industry needs that.
When I go around by Shaggy place now and picture start take and them say such and such in the audience, it shows that Shaggy I do something wicked. Shaggy thing boss. And I'm not allowing Shaggy to get that merit on my back.
Right.
The
It's
industry
bigger than Shaggy though. We need the cohesiveness.
but you gotta work with the minds of
Yeah,
the people.
You know what
yeah,
else? You know
yeah.
what else you need? Jamaican bossy, them want hype. They want it to be full of hype too.
You just said something about using the radio. But I don't know if you remember, you actually endorsed that last year. And we did have a radio symposium here. You remember?
Yeah, of course.
So we
I'm-
did it. And as a result of that, what you might not know, I know 5 young people who went, registered themselves as a brand, built themselves out, and now they are looking at
That's good.
the business part of it, which is a good thing.
That's good. I know we're at the top of the hour. We'll be back on the other side of the hour.